All right, let's talk about Derek Carr for a second. I think he's someone who's very fascinating. Definitely someone who I feel like there's a wide range of how people view him. Some people view him as amazing. Some people view him as trash. I think the reality is he's in between, very good. But, still has some flaws and isn't a perfect quarterback. And so I wanted to look at the numbers. And what I like about doing with these kind of videos is I feel like it just gives us a better understanding of who these quarterbacks are, what they are really good at and what they aren't really good at. So without further ado, let's get into the numbers and then we can kind of talk about what some takeaways are. Usually this stuff doesn't necessarily make us realize, oh, this guy is actually better than I realized or worse than I realized. More so just helps us understand what exactly it is that, they're great at and poor at. I think a chart like this is a great example. So let's look at his under pressure versus kept clean stats. So first I just have to explain how these tables work. If you have not seen one of these videos before, the way it works is, it's under pressure versus kept clean. And this is going to be where Carr ranked in specific categories, in relation to the rest of the NFL. So his, Pro Football Focus grade under pressure was 27th best in football, whereas when he was kept clean, it was 10th best in football. And just to be clear, this is in relation to the other players. So he's 27th in relation to when other players were also under pressure. That's how that works. So anyways, you see his under pressure stats, not spectacular. 27th in PFF grade, 25th in passer rating. Big time throw percentage is 18th, although his turnover-worthy play percentage was still good. The one saving grace he had did not put the ball in harm's way when he was under pressure. And just to be clear, that's sixth best turnover-worthy play percentage. So sixth lowest is how that works. SS is just sample size. There were 40 quarterbacks who qualified, who had enough snaps under pressure and kept clean to qualify, so that's how that works. When Carr was kept clean, he was legitimately really good. 10th best PFF grade, 12th best passer rating, 4th best big time throw percentage, and 2nd best turnover worthy play percentage. So still stuff to like on both categories. And what's interesting is Carr is someone who at times has been awesome under pressure. That is one of those stats that tends to fluctuate a decent amount. Just from watching film from Carr, it seems like a lot of times what he does under pressure is just, throws it up to whatever his favorite matchup is. So a big, there's going to be a big dependency on, with something like that, with a stat like that, is just, the things around you, which, that's football. For the next chart, let's talk about how he performs, depending on how far he throws the ball down the field. So this is 20 plus yards down the field in that 10 to 19 range, and then 9 yards to 0 yards. This is excluding throws that happen behind the line of scrimmage, as those tend to, have very little impact on the quarterback itself. It tends to just be surrounding factors. So you look at 20 plus yards down the field, his numbers are not great, not terrible either, but not great. 19th best PFF grade, 21st best passer rating, 18th best big time throw percentage, and 27th best turnover-worthy play percentage. So for someone who didn't put the ball in harm's way too much last year, that's kind of the one way he would, was when he threw the ball that far down the field. Meanwhile, in the 10 through 19 range, he's legitimately awesome there. 2nd best Pro Football Focus grade, 7th best passer rating, 2nd best big time throw percentage, and 5th best turnover worthy play percentage. That's out of a sample size of 34 eligible players. That's really good. He's a top 5 quarterback in that range, which is one of the most important ranges in football. Probably, that's where the majority of passes go, is in that 10 to 19 range. So the fact that he's awesome there, yeah, that's pretty cool. This is definitely where he thrives and, really where his success comes from, because you see that 0 to 9 range, numbers aren't as great. 30th best PFF grade, 22nd best passer rating. So his big time throw percentage is 3rd, but it's worth mentioning. That's just weird in general because it's so rare to get a big time throw in that range. He has one big time throw, and so that puts him at 3rd best. So that's why the asterisk is there. And then 10th is turnover worthy play percentage. So, not horrible there necessarily, but not great. Certainly not spectacular. But the one area he thrives in the most is kind of the most important area to thrive in. So that's kind of what makes things interesting. And of course, all these stats aren't necessarily just quarterback stats. There's other things that factor in, of course, that should be mentioned. This is pretty interesting. So when you look at his splits, when he gets rid of the ball in less than 2.5 seconds or more than 2.5 seconds, less than 2.5 seconds, really good. 5th best PFF grade, 18th best passer rating, so that part not quite as good, but I care more about like the other stats than passer rating. Just wanted to kind of throw one traditional box score stat in there. 7th best big time throw percentage and 2nd best turnover worthy play percentage. So when he's getting rid of the ball quickly, he's doing a good job with it. When he holds on to the ball, again, still not awful, but definitely a step back. His passer rating actually better, but part of that might just be you throw the ball further, which inherently makes your passer rating go up. Although it's better relative to the competition, so probably not that actually. Although I would think Carr might be someone who is more likely to throw the ball when he's holding onto the ball for longer, further down the field than other players, but that's just a guess. It's a theory. I don't have any, I'm not jumping to a conclusion there, just something I thought of. 21st PFF grade, 12th best big time throw percentage, and then 27th best turnover-worthy play percentage. So kind of just puts the ball in harm's way too much when he holds on to the ball for too long. Part of that is fumbles. Part of that is, potential interceptions. But when he can get rid of the ball quickly, he does do a legitimately good job. And that just doesn't just mean guys are getting open immediately. Because, again, the passer rating doesn't really get that much better. It's more so that he's just doing a better job and makes those decisions quickly better. But you would probably like to see him do a better job when he holds on to the ball for a little bit longer, when things break down a little bit. Maybe doesn't have the best playmaking ability is what these statistics show. Finally, play action versus not play action. Again, someone who, like we've talked about, someone who does a better job kind of with when things are on script, and that is the case with play action. 8th best PFF grade, 8th best passer rating, 12th best big time throw percentage, and 13th best turnover worthy play percentage. Numbers get a little bit worse when you go to no play action, with the exception of big time throws, which do go up. Everything else, not quite as good. 16th best PFF grade, 21st best passer rating, and 23rd best turnover worthy play percentage. Again, not horrible numbers, but kind of mediocre with the off script stuff, but good with the on-script stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my thought on Derek Carr as a whole. Very good with on-script plays. The off-script stuff, maybe not quite as good, but he's not horrible there either. His numbers aren't like abysmal in that situation. So that's kind of what I like about Carr to some degree. He is someone who, again, the numbers back this up. When things are going well, he can really maximize the talent of an offense. He does a great job when he's getting rid of the ball quickly. When his first or second read is open, which is what happens in that 2.5 second frame, he gets the ball to the right player and typically is very accurate with it. Again, has there been some issues with him, when he has to make something happen on his own? To some degree, yeah. And again, think about who you're comparing him to. Like, he's better than a lot of guys, but he's not better than Patrick Mahomes at that stuff. The statistics back that up. So that's kind of, something that I think we know about Derek Carr, which is he's kind of, fine at that stuff, but really where he excels is the on-script plays. And so my first reaction is, you have a offensive coordinator who could be better at, Josh McDaniels done a really good job at getting stuff open early. So because of that, that could make, maximize Carr's talents a little bit. And the other aspect about this is you got Davante Adams, who's someone who's going to get open regardless of what scheme he's in pretty quickly. And so that could also help maximize Carr's talents. Get guys who can get open quickly. It helps the quarterback. Not exactly breaking news here, but it might help Carr even more than some other quarterbacks who are more of a playmaker type, whereas he's more of the on-script type. Some people view like a game manager as an insult. It's not. That's a real skill that you can have, and he is really good at that skill and not horrible at the playmaking stuff either. So that's kind of what I think about Carr. Like I said, not necessarily negative or positive about Carr looking at this stuff. More so just helping us understand, who he is, and then because we understand who he is a little better, think about next year and applying that. So that's what I think about all of this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this data? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.